So what are we looking at? His level on paper?
Yeah, I like that.
Look at this. Look at this level design.
Level design on paper. And
That's it right
school
there.
grid paper right there.
And actually, look how it translated. Boom.
It's working out pretty well. Like,
You got some placeholders in there.
Actually, yeah. Dude, that looks really good. I mean, you can see where that did translate.
Let me tell you about Loren. I've had quite a few late nights with Loren, but actually seeing the graphics, the story, the gameplay, music, engine, everything come together in one existence, that's what I live for. That's why I'm part of the team.
I just kind of I had it in the center, but I wasn't really sold on that either. And then I started storyboarding it to kind of figure out where it.
Are your the two towns are meeting.
Having a milestone and Loren being that first milestone is something that is, you know, it's really exciting because it's going to set the stage for the rest of the entire game. And so getting to talk about how the game's going to open up and how the player gets introduced to the character in the game and all of his, you know, supporting cast that's in the story is really neat and exciting to work on. We needed something, even in the primitive, you know, stage of storyline development and character development and everything, we needed something that we could grab onto. So with Loren, that gives us a milestone, you know, to get to, and we've already laid out, you know, basically the design for it, kind of the storyline that will develop there.
so here we are looking at a basic prototype of the first town, Loren. This is going to be the main monastery here. We are using some placeholder graphics, like we have a mailbox for tombstones since we don't quite have those yet. But I mean, at least we can build and prototype the town, and we can go back in later and add art.
Graves.
We actually do have quite a complete interior of the monastery. Granted, we're using Chrono Trigger graphics.
Yeah, that looks familiar.
But it's a really good inspiration, and really seeing how they build their own sheets and see how they all fit together is a really good basis for us to do our art off of, I believe so. So what's really nice is this is probably the only level that we have that the actual objects and layers are correct in. We've recently changed the way the level format is laid out, so not everything looks right in the other ones.
Alright, so we needed a way to modify tile attributes in the toolkit quickly. So what I've done is I've made it so when you select a tile in the selection view, it shows up. So with a little thumbnail. So I'll select that in the shape view, yeah. Little thumbnail. These two properties are kind of placeholders. They'll be like collidable, primitive. Other attributes that haven't quite been dreamt up yet. We also made it where you can select multiple. And Tyler didn't like it.
Show your move your selection more on the map.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's all the tiles that have been selected.
But, having multiple selected like that, if they were all automatically expanded, it was just
which they were initially.
But we discussed that having multiple selected like that, they're automatically collapse. And I mean, if you want to go look at one, you can. But I mean, if you're doing multiple selection, you're probably not going to be editing properties like that.
Well, so this is for the logo for like the toolkit and the engine.
Yeah.
Show us what we have so far. Where's the concept logo? There it is.
This is the concept that was on the thread or on the forums, and then I want to do something along the same lines. So I'm going to make a bunch of different gears and kind of overlay them, and then try to make one gear that looks like the E. Right. It's kind of in the front, and it stands out a little bit more than the rest.
Hopefully it won't be a heart.
Oh.
But yeah, now that we're getting all trendy, we need logos and color schemes. All right, let's see. We're doing another checkup on the amazing art in progress. Dude, that looks really good, man. You said that's Illustrator?
Yeah, this is Illustrator, so we'll be able to make it
vectified.
Yeah, that's what I was
vectified, vectorized, whatever.
No, that's the E.
Dude, that looks really good. That almost kind of looks like a Chrono Trigger throwback, almost like we planned that, right? But what are we doing? We're outsourcing the coloring of it to Sofa King?
I don't know if he knows that yet, but I was going to see if he would.
Oh, it doesn't matter if he knows it. We're doing it.
I probably don't say this enough, but James is an incredible UI guy, incredible artistic, technical art. Not so much like concept art. James will tell you that himself. He's not good at like drawing pictures or like, you know, just sitting down and sketching. But when it comes to making things look good, making websites look good, making whatever look good, James can do it. He'll sit in Photoshop all day and he will knock it out.
So what have you guys done?
Welcome to officially the trendiest build of the toolkit that we've ever had. Jared and I have
so trendy.
We've been stylizing it. or James over there decided that this purple deal is kind of one of our trademarks in the ES Toolkit because a lot of Freedom style and his Angel, which is all people have seen so far, are that purple. So Jared did the tree view and list view.
Right.
The style sheets for that.
So everything, including your selection view over here, all got that purple with it, and then Falco's
And then I did the
selection.
scene view to match the purple. So now we're super trendy, and everyone at Starbucks is going to need to use our software.
Absolutely.
So working on building a level here, and I come up with a pretty good idea for a future request.
Let's hear it.
One of the biggest issues I've been having so far is the limitations of the tile and object sheets.
Right. Yeah.
The size.
Yeah, 512 by 512.
What's taking up all the space?
Mirroring everything, because we want to be able to have doors that open this way, and to increase variety in our level design.
Duplicated.
Everything's duplicated and mirrored, and there goes half the sheet.
Right. So what's the idea?
So, in theory, since this is a 2D game with hardware acceleration, we could flip the tiles at runtime with just one image. But that's going to be like the biggest pain in the ass.
It's going to be the biggest.
It's going to take. It's going to be a
saver in real estate.
I'm pretty good at handling those kind of situations.
Get to work.
Well, let's see how much work you've gotten on your feature over here. What are you even doing?
I have drastically underestimated the amount of work this is going to take. Alright, to flip a tile, there's an additional... To flip a tile is easy, you just flip or rotate it. But with a group selection, there's an additional layer of complexity. You have to flip the structure itself, iterate over the tiles, and flip the order of the tiles. Then each individual tile itself has to flip. And furthermore, a tile that's already flipped or rotated, that gets flipped or rotated again, is at a completely different orientation. So I've had to diagram out every scenario I have right now. Like if you're at no rotation and then you flip it horizontally, you're here. If you've been rotated 90 degrees, then you flip it vertically, you're here. If you're at flip horizontal plus rotate 90 degrees, then you rotate it clockwise 90 degrees, you're at flip vertical here.
Oh, Jesus. There's an enumeration table coming on?
There's a giant overlooked layer of complexity.
Alright, so I've just implemented staggered selection.
He didn't implement it because it's not done yet.
Well, yeah, it is. Check this out. So here's the sheet view. I'm going to select a region right here, select a region right there, and then one right here. And then it should appear in the scene up top. And,
and it shit its pants.
Actually, that was supposed to work.
So I finished staggered selection and
Man, just mess around with some.
You're still drunk, I take it?
Yeah, but I'm
relatively.
I'm trying to pump out a.
Is that pixel art or is that you just dicking off?
No, it's real pixel art. I've got over here like a little Zelda mock-up.
Oh, that looks pretty good, man. What am I looking at?
This is a stained glass window that would be used for the first town in the game.
That looks pretty good.
Loren. So there's a church in there, and I've been working on some of the assets that are going to go into the church.
So it's confirmed you can do pixel art drunk?
I don't know how. It's confirmed I can. I don't know how successful it's going to turn out.
You'll judge it when you sober up?
Yeah.
All right.
That might when it gets its true evaluation.
All right, so what we have prepared for you over here is the prototype for Invoke Engine. We're starting off with just the Windows and OS X, and of course it's not really running so well on OS X, but so we've built the engine on Windows, and you're not allowed to see much of that in this video, but so we have the trendy play button, push play. Oh my god, there's your level in the engine. So you can do the basic stuff, walk around, all that. You're not really allowed to see that. But what is of importance is this is the Invoke Engine log. As you can see, this is all debug statements, deserialization, serialization from the level, coming from the engine's standard output. So when the engine does a cout, a printf, any of that crap, it goes there. More importantly,
Lua scripts can do it too, so you can catch and see, like, is it getting to this point in the script, or am I triggering this behavior and it's just not acting the way I want it to versus it ever actually being called. So yeah, it's a scripter's dream.
Lua's standard output is redirected to this log. So basically, it's built-in debugging right there. And we also built in there's only 2 command line arguments right now for invoking the engine. You can give it a default starting X and Y coordinates. So I don't know, you want to start at 800 by 800. Then the next time you invoke the engine, that's passed through the command line. It invokes the engine, and now you store at that position, so we're further down. And would work on the Mac, but I don't have it built, so it just says failed to launch. So it's interactive in that respect too. It'll tell you if it crashes. All right. So I've implemented one of the most important features ever in the toolkit. Since Marcel and I spend half of our days together just bitching about who messes what up, this is a very important debugging feature. So let me load a project real quick. And as you should know, when you load a project, there's a whole bunch of deserialization going on. And some of that code exists in the engine, and some of that code exists in the toolkit.
Right.
And so we can tell now who screwed what up by looking at this log. Let's see. So it keeps track of the source, whether it was from the toolkit or from the asset.io, which is actually included from the engine. So we can see exactly who screwed what up. And the red, as you should know, is the error stuff.
That syntax highlighting, let me tell you something. Digging through text files, trying to understand who was what or anything like that, like, did that work? I think so. I don't even know. Like, syntax highlighting.
Seriously, screw the syntax highlighting. The best part, come look at this real quickly. I mean, this is my debugging stuff from my toolkit. We are returning from place selection because the placement was the same. That's an example of my standard debugging pragma. Look over here how it's like nested and, you know.
Beautiful.
It's actually...
well, what can I say? I make it
nice.
trendy.
Scroll, hand, drag, exclamation point, exclamation point. It's literally useless. That's actually pretty nice.
All right, Marcel.
Alright, so check it out. Staggered selection is finally finished.
Wait, before he shows off staggered selection, let the camera show that I am putting $5 on it, either crashing or failing to do what it's supposed to do.
Well,
We need to get that on paper. Let's get that on paper.
Check out my non-crashing selection system. I
Or
can
load
select.
times,
I can
'cause
select
that's
a
bullcrap.
region. I'm going to select this little twofer, and then I'm going to select this entire thing, and select this and this by holding down the control key. And well, so I can actually spell out a word or something like that and make it my selection, or I don't know, select this and this donut-looking thing. This, and ta-da! Look at my selection.
Paint with it real quick.
Do what with
paint
it?
with your selection.
Yeah.
Oh,
Is it loading?
Yeah. I think Falco owes you a sandwich or something like that.
I'm gonna play with it a little more to make sure it doesn't crash, and then I like do something else.
Do something. Try
It's
it
possible.
on another level. I think he's got this one rigged.
So I've thought of a corner case scenario that you may have missed with your little rotate project over here. What happens when you rotate something that's got dimensions that don't match, a rectangular region, and then all of a sudden you rotate it 90 degrees, width becomes height? I mean, what do you do?
Well, that's a good question. I have to reallocate the array right now. It's a 2D array, so yeah, the dimensions will be physically changing.
Jesus.
It's a free and a reallocate.
Wow.
New and
Mr.
bleak.
No Load Times over here? Well.
Oh, right. One new calls load time. So anyway, check this out. This LUT that I constructed has become a 2-dimensional lookup table. Where the first dimension is the current state of the texture orientation. Then the second dimension is what you're applying to it.
Falco is a kind of our go-to man for anything programming related. He's been my go-to man for any programming question I've had in the last, since I've known him. And when it comes to Elysian Shadows, if we have a problem, if we need something that's implemented or anything like that, Falco can do it. Like, it's not a question of can we do it, it's kind of a when thing.
Word on the street, there's a new feature that's being looked at.
It's the best feature ever.
The best feature I've seen in a long time.
All right, what is it?
Dial flip and rotate.
Second only to staggered selection.
Right.
All right.
So,
Oh, okay.
demo, I guess.
Demo.
You take entire selection
Big house. Okay.
And flip it, yeah. The up and down arrows are flip, and then left and right are rotate 90 degrees clockwise and 90 counterclockwise.
So this kind of fixes our issue with the sheet, not having enough room on the sheet and all that kind of stuff.
So here's a question: can you do that with jagged selection?
I knew he was gonna say it, and just because he says that, how do I even do that command, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's worthless. All right, so hold command. I want to make some dumb staggered selection. An F.
Click. There you go.
Click. Boom. Just for you, Marcel. You can do it. I knew he was gonna say that.
Wow, that's
I knew
actually
it,
pretty
so
impressive.
Now there's only one problem.
And I'm so tired.
What's
You
that,
have to
Tyler?
redo all of
I
your
have to
levels?
recreate every single level that's currently in the game because removing the right side of it destroys it.
Oh man.
It's gonna be a fun night.
So I'm sure, actually I hope many of you have been asking yourselves at this point, how exactly are we going to represent tile orientation in the Engine and Toolkit? I'm glad you asked. Well, previously the Engine and Toolkit represented a map like pretty much every other 2D tile engine. It's a 2D array of indices into a tile sheet. So every entry is 1 byte, and every byte represents a different tile. So that's 256 different tiles. So we had 1 byte tile number. Well, now we need even more data to represent the orientation of a tile. So what we did is we changed the unsigned character. We doubled that to a uint, or unsigned integer, 16-bit. So now that gave us another byte. And with this 1 byte, we're able to represent this enumeration. This enumeration is for every orientation a tile can have. So this is normal, flip horizontal, flip vertical, rotate 90 degrees, rotate 180, rotate 270. That's 6 different orientations. While 2 to the third is 8, I believe. Yeah, that's right. I'm tired. Anyway, so we only need 3 bits to do that. So this 6 will fit within the 3 bits of this new byte that we have. So these 3 bits can be the orient enumeration. And we also have 5 new bits here free. So that's what we did. We simply added an extra byte, and we used 3 bits of that byte, and maybe we can do something fancy with these other 5 bits.
So tonight we've made giant strides in progress, and we've completely destroyed Twitter. About anywhere between 50-second intervals to...
We've all been committing all night long. Look at all those tweets.
These are all within like the last hour.
All of our fans are getting spammed. Tweet, motherfuckers.
Since I started programming, I've had several, class presentations of programs that I've worked on and things like that, but nothing to the magnitude of releasing this latest version of the toolkit. To me, this is probably my shining moment as far as programming is concerned. I've always wanted to make a game or be a part of a game. So now that I've released something that I've worked on with other talented people, and I can see it on Facebook, I can see other people liking it, like, to me, this is all I've ever wanted.
It was a huge milestone for the team because basically we started with a clean slate and a brand new team. And it was a little intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. The sheer amount of work that we had to go through, the amount of reast we had to clean up. And I think this toolkit release really showed us, holy shit, we can actually do this.
It was moving from an unusable utility to a working product. I mean, granted, it didn't have all the bells and whistles and stuff like that we quite wanted, but it was usable. And that was one of the biggest highlights for me, was an open, close, save, things like that needed to work for so long worked, and the framework was there for us to build upon it and add all the extra features that we're going to add.
So this is one of my favorite parts of being an indie game developer. You see all this crap out. We got the toolkit running on everything. We're getting ready for a group picture on Facebook to appease all of our collective narcissistic complexes. What are you yelling? It's the best part.
That's the reason we do it.
That is the reason we do it. Look at all that. Look at all that. I'm just gonna bask in the achievement, gentlemen.
This is it.